The aim in this series of videos is to take a landscape designer who maybe has been drawing and drafting designs by hand and wants to move towards drafting using computer-aided design software. We happen to be using CAD Plus for that, but any CAD software could be used. Previously, we got to the stage of, in a sense, dressing the drawing or the design up a little. We had put a little leader there indicating that a dry stone wall seating height to be agreed will be placed there. That would read better if we edited that and put a dash in there to separate those two ideas. You have control over the leader here. We could say we want it left justified by just simply clicking in the boxes there, and that looks a little neater, although you might even want it right justified on that side. It's your choice. We started adding some images, and I've completed those images, and they were placed into the design using the Format and Images tool, and here they are. The images in this design are all loaded. I thought you might be interested in how we bring new images into the design quickly and easily, and we like to think that's best done by using our companion plant database application that we call SPPDB, short for Species Database. Here we are looking at an example file, and this one happens to be a photo that we took of Acacia fimbriata, the fringe wattle. We've put the common name there, the family that it belongs to, an estimate of height and width, the plant type, a code, uses the first two characters of the generic name and then the first two characters of the species name, categorize why you might class it as prominent flowers and what are the conditions and so on. We work through all of this. In order to put, we can run this at the same time as we run CAD Plus, but in order to put that into the drawing itself, it's pretty simple. We've stored it in this folder, so we can simply copy that path, come back to the drawing, over to Format and to Images, and so we're going to add one now, and simply I'll move away from the generic plant database to one that was developed specially for this project. And in fact, it's only got 6 records in it, and it's been, the first entry is Davesia and so on. But I wanted to illustrate how easy it is to paste an image into the database. You simply drag over this entry because you've downloaded it and saved it in your, in this case, a temporary file folder where I'm storing things to do with this particular project. It's only a matter then of copying that. So right click and select copy, and then swing back into the design and simply go Format and Images and load it from here. Just be a matter of saying add and then paste it in. I won't do it because it's obviously there. The other way is just to go to the draw menu and say raster image, and that pulls up the same image manager, and we can add. Maybe what I might do, I might well come unstuck here. Let me take Davesia and we will unload it. Well, I did come unstuck and my recording program froze, so I had to reboot. What I should have done is jump into the plant database, and copy the path to the image. Now we'll minimize that, come back in here. You remember I unloaded the image. What I'm going to do is play very safe and delete it from here. Then I'll come back to Format, Images, and if it's still there, which it is, I'll delete it entirely and it's gone. Now I'll add it back. Remember I've copied, so we just have to, I've copied that path, just have to paste it, and then I have to insert it. Okay, there. And now we should, when we draw our little box, that should be filled with Divisio, and I'm happy. So that combination of the two tools, GCAD Plus and the SPPDB tool, enables you to dress things up quite well. And the flexibility in this labeling system enables you to draw things nicely. And now in a landscape plan, it's starting to become richer. Well, let's imagine that we want to put some detail of the way we form the dry stone wall. And I've done that by going to the library and then just pulling down one of the sample drawings in the rocks group, and here we have a dry stone wall, gravel backfill and so on. So if we come back to our design here, we could imagine that the dry stone wall is raised at the back, that there's some slope from the fence line up, and the wall around there is seating height. So we're just brought in that drawing. It's one single block at the moment, and all I've done is go to the landscape plan, created a new floating viewport there, and then just, if I double click on it, whoops, that's gone the wrong one. All I did was come in here, and let's double click it now. Can you see it's just taking part of that much larger block? By the way, that's another way you could create a series of blocks and just isolate one or two individual elements from it in that way. So let's pop that back. Remember, we're dressing things up now. At the moment, the frame holding the whole design is set color by layer. I'm going to change that now back to, as we did before, to color white. So the A3 sheet looks very tidy. I won't bore you with going through and updating the information in that block. We might well use this area here for our design, a description of our design philosophy of what we're trying to do here. But I'd be inclined to draw a rectangle like so. We want to just sort of set this off a little bit. So it's a rectangle. We'll give it a color. Make sure that irrespective of layer settings and things, it'll give us color 251. We'll set line weight so it's visible. So, and if I now zoom in, see here, we've got a thicker line on the outside. I'd prefer to put some sort of corner radius. Let's make it a 10mm corner radius. So there we are. I'll just pause for a minute and find a little bit of text as a sample to put in there and get back to you. Well, I've found some sample text. I'd put that in with draw and text. Use multi-line text because it's going to be a reasonable slug. Draw again a box and just paste your text in that describes the design. We have the text selected, our character height 2.5. Remembering this is on a layout sheet, let's drop it back to 1.8, and we're nearly there. We can widen it like so, and then move it. We're nearly there, aren't we? We could move this across, but I'd be inclined to just to illustrate 1.6 will change the height again, and then move it into position. We are now done. We have a description of our philosophy. The sheet is ready. We could move the images and things up a bit, but to illustrate, let's do a first check print file and save as PDF. Pick window, pick maximum, and we'll OK it. Just go outside of the nice heavy box that we've set up, and we'll overwrite our other test one. What we're hoping for is a reasonable PDF that we can send to the client, which summarizes what we're intending to do. And our configured PDF reader, Acrobat Reader, is now, let me just close this. So Acrobat Reader pops up and displays our design, and I'm relatively happy with that. I think if I go Control+, that zooms me in a little, and I've got my plant schedule, detail of the rock wall, some rubbish text down here that describes the design philosophy. Our images are showing nicely, and we've reached the end of this little series of movies trying to take our designer from no experience with CAD into a reasonable presentation drawing.